Well, for more on AI, or how it can be applied in Nigeria to foster change, I'm joined in the studio by Sonny Iroche, who is the Senior Academic Fellow at the African Studies Center, University of Oxford. He also has a postgraduate studies in artificial intelligence from the Said Business School, University of Oxford. Thank you, Mr. Iroche, for joining us.
Thank you, Constance.
Yeah, so you're in Abuja this week. Usually you're not living here for now, but you're visiting Abuja to attend the workshop on AI. Tell us, what was the main outcome of this get-together?
Thank you very much, Constance. The main purpose for getting experts, enthusiasts, researchers, professors of computer science, robotic, and the private sector was for us to come up with a framework and a roadmap for the adoption and development of artificial intelligence for Nigeria, Africa, and for the rest of the world. If you look at the youth population that we have and what they have done with the ICT, formal or informal, you can now just oppose that with when they grapple with the essence and the ethics of artificial intelligence for positive development. We had about 8 groups within the major experts that came together that the minister rightly named the Nigerian Artificial Intelligence Avenger. Right. People chose different characters of Avengers they want to be, which means that, look, you have to go out there with the impetus and with dexterity to come up with what would make Nigeria a hub for AI, not only in Africa, but globally.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned a youth population.
Yes.
You're not young yourself.
Well, as a father,
yeah.
I want to leave Nigeria a better country for my children,
yes,
and my children's generation.
So what led you into this sector? What generated the interest that drove you to go back to school on this subject matter?
Well, it is never too late to learn anything new. I don't want to be a relic. I don't want to be a dinosaur. As the world changes and as the world embraces artificial intelligence, I'm in Oxford, where you have information overload on AI and modern discoveries in every field. When I was a senior fellow at the African Studies, there are lots of courses and conferences on AI. I took an interest in it and I found it very, very interesting. And you must always try in life to upscale, to retrain, and to make sure you are relevant for as long as the good Lord gives you breath and life to live. And let me tell you something. Learning is one thing that keeps away Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. So at my age, I'll keep learning and until the good Lord says, good and faithful son, come home.
Well, thanks for that information. I should do that as well. So there's a saying that AI is going to in future affect every facet of life, whether it's governance, agriculture, communication, health, you name it. Help us understand in practical terms, examples, how can this be applied in Nigeria? You can just use one sector.
Well, let me explain how AI is perceived to wanting to change the way we do things. There are 3 sub fields of AI. You have generative AI, you have the deep learning, and you have the neural networks. And the neural networks, what they try to do is to replicate the human brain, but albeit artificial. But AI has been recorded to defeat the world champion in chess and the world champion in an Asian game, a Japanese game called Go, which was, AI was able to predict 60,000 moves in just 1 second. So AI can do what humans can do. And with time, with deep learning and neural networks, large language models, you can see algorithm developing to where it might, I use that word responsibly, might do more than what humans can do. Now in Nigeria, one of the greatest problems we have that even impinges on foreign direct investment in Nigeria is the issue of security. I've written, published articles on that AI could be used to monitor the movement of Boko Haram and these militants. You can use drones to monitor their movement and also to disseminate them. The Russian invasion of Ukraine, the Russian-Ukraine war, people thought it was going to be like a 1 weekend to be over. It has been described by experts as the algorithm war. Ukraine is using algorithm, using AI, unmanned aircraft services. In fact, the United States of America has just established, I think it was September last year, established a military university in Oklahoma where they train their soldiers on unarmed combat, where it's AI that's doing all the work. So coming back to Nigeria, we need AI to monitor insecurity. We need AI also to curb corruption, because where you have humans interacting with human beings, that is when they can now ask you for gratification and things like that. If, for instance, you go to our airport, your custom officers, your immigration officers are robotic, they're not going to ask you for anything untoward. But then that comes the fear of redundancy.
Yes, I was going to ask.
Yeah.
That leads to concerns about loss of jobs. What do you have to say on that?
When I started my banking career in 1982, we had secretaries all over the place. Every manager had a secretary. Today, do you have secretaries? No. Most secretaries have upscaled and retrained to do something else. So if your job is threatened, you said at my age I'm doing AI. So if as a banker I was retrenched, now I'm in an entirely new field that I'm enjoying thoroughly. And how many Africans are in AI? Not too many.
Right.
Not too many. So
from what you say, this requires quite a bit of investment in a country where we're struggling with financing. How do we then find the kind of money and other types of investment that is needed to open up this area or this sector?
Yes, well, it's quite a good question. I'll even go beyond money. I'll go to the realm of electricity power, because artificial intelligence and electricity are like hand and glove. They must go together. AI requires a lot of electricity. It also needs a lot of funding. We have to look at the macroeconomics of our country, not just looking at AI in a silo. We have to look at the macro. What has cost Nigeria the economic quagmire we are in today? One, loss of production of our main source of foreign exchange, which is crude oil. Lack of production, lack of investment in several years in that sector, and two, massive corruption, misappropriation and mischanneling of the resources that should have gone to fix infrastructure like power, to fix our roads. So if we are deliberate about running our country as a going concern, which it should be, then there must be accountability.
Right.
Leaders and managers of our economy must be held accountable, including the past people in government, to give account of what happened. You don't look back, but to answer your question directly, let us fix our refineries. Dangote has come on stream. Demand and supply will affect pricing, and check insecurity for foreign direct investment to come in here. You see some companies divesting and leaving Nigeria. What are the reasons? Unpredictable foreign exchange, insecurity. So if we get the macro right, it will just be like a jigsaw. Right. The whole picture will fall in place.
What we are talking about, is it too sophisticated? I ask that because we live in a country with very high levels of poverty, where people are just looking for food to eat. So are we overreaching ourselves here? Is this real, or is this going to happen?
When I used to be in politics and people talk about grassroots, I also said that as long as you have grassroots, you also have marble roots. So what I'm trying to say is we have a strong population of those who can afford it. And AI can be taught like you teach mathematics, like you teach history. You can go to any village school and teach. I've gone to a few schools whenever I'm in Nigeria to talk to students. It doesn't cost anything, but you must create that awareness at an early age. Catch them young, and they will also, you'll be amazed, the people who are making things happen. The Nigerians who are making things happen in the United States, in the UK, in the Middle East. Most of them don't come from rich families. They went to school, they were dedicated, and they've made it. So you might be a poor child of a poor farmer today, of a poor parent today. It doesn't define you. It doesn't predict where you're going to end up.
Right. You said that very few people are operating in the AI sector, both in Nigeria and in Africa. How do we expand this? How do we make it more meaningful and grow it, actually? We can also talk about what the Nigerian government needs to do.
Okay, thank you, Constance. AI started as early as 1950s, where someone like John McCarthy and Alan Turing were the founders of machine learning, machine talking to machine talking to human beings. Not until 2022, when you had the open AI ChatGPT, I think GPT-3, that people became aware of it. People have been studying AI. When I met during this our AI strategy session, the last 4 days, I met lots of professors who've been teaching machine learning, have been using large language model for a long time. So now the awareness has come. We are not lagging behind so much. It's as if the whistle for the race into the fourth industrial revolution, which is going to be powered by AI, the whistle has just been blown. Some people might be early starters, some might be late starters, but let us begin. And we have started by this administration putting together various AI experts, enthusiasts. Our international development partners were there. Many of them came to support us, and someone flew in as far as from Australia. Some came from China. I flew in straight from Oxford to Abuja. I made the sacrifice to come. All of us made serious sacrifices to come, and it was a grueling exercise. I will tell you that. I mean, I haven't been under such pressure in a long time.
You did say that you need electricity to power this industry. We've been having that problem for a very long time. Do you see us making any headway in this? Because it's going to impact every other thing, including the AI.
We can. Incidentally, I used to be in the power sector. We can. There are so many things we can do. We can fix our transmission system.
Someone was saying everything needs to be unbundled, take it out of, take it away from government.
A lot of people discuss what they don't understand.
Okay, so help us understand.
Okay, fine. The transmission line is the only one that is still with government. Some of the inefficiencies are not just directed at the one that is still being run by government. The gas supplier has this issue. The generation companies have their issues. Transmission has this issue, and the 11 discos do have their issues. One thing that is in the NERC, that's the Nigeria Electricity Regulation Commission regime, is what we call the eligible customer regime, where customers, like big users of electricity, above 2 megawatts, can tap from the generation line of, I think, 330, and from the distribution line 135. I think I'm correct, but it's being resisted somewhere. So this government I've called, I've written that, look, we should look at that eligible customer regime where we have free buyer, free seller. I know we have challenges. If we have the resources by fixing our oil production capacity, then we have enough resources to fix power. I also think that TCN could be decentralized. Instead of just having one TCN, we could have a transmission. Of course, we have 10 regions now, but those 10 regions can also be empowered and resourced.
Is it necessary for AI to be incorporated into our educational curriculum?
Yes, certainly, certainly. AI would be like the driving force of intellectualism going forward. It will be very, very key. It's like when the internet came, when computing came, those who could not change over were left behind, and nobody would want to be left behind today, because employers will be asking and testing you, and your workplace will be AI driven, right? Okay, people talk about ChatGPT. Is it cheating or is it not cheating? Is it plagiarism or is it not plagiarism?
What do you think about that?
Well, there's what we call in AI prompt engineering. It's what you put in there,
right,
that you get. In my banking days, you had to struggle with preparing cash flow, preparing credit analysis. But now, AI can speed up the process of credit analysis and cash flow analysis. Why do you waste your time plotting graphs and trying to, when you can get it quickly? It's like when my parents used to cook beans, my mother used to cook beans. It would firewood, or it would take time. But pressure cooker came. Today you have microwave. So AI might be the microwave of emerging technology.
Well, that's a good place to leave it. Thank you so much, Mr. Sonny Iroche, for coming on the program.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Well, that's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Do join us again next week. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, goodbye and thank you for watching.